Hi there, I'm Tracey Carruthers, your executive coach to a leadership state of mind. Here's a clue you can use to access clear, effective thinking. The cab ride. Recently, I took a cab from a downtown hotel to an industrial business complex where one of my major clients is located. The distance was not far, as the crow flies. My challenge? I was not flying. I was at the mercy of a language barrier in the back seat of a vehicle traveling in the wrong direction. The driver was on the phone talking to a colleague, and just before he hung up, I heard him say, "Happy New Year." He then told me that he was Egyptian, and that the Egyptian New Year was 9/11. And since the tragedy of that day in 2001, he and his colleagues never felt comfortable celebrating on that day. Now, they wait a respectable time, and then they can say Happy New Year to each other and celebrate. We talked a little about that, and then it was then that I noticed we were going in the wrong direction. Now, I must say that when I first got in the cab, I originally gave him the address, and when he originally repeated it to me, I had an inkling that the street name had lost something in communication. So I asked him, "Do you know where that is?" He assured me he knew exactly because it used to be this and now it was that. So, though not entirely confident, I still allowed that he was a cab driver and it was his job, and I might just trust that he knew. A couple of minutes later, I heard him check the address with his dispatcher. At this point, it was clear to me that he didn't know and that I had to take control. At my insistence, we pulled off the expressway and parked on a side street. I spelled out the address. The dispatcher used a GPS, and when he shouted out the directions through the phone speakers, I recognized the street name for the exit and said, "Yes, that's where we're going." And we took off. By the time we got back on the expressway heading in the right direction, my driver was determined to make up the time and restore his illusion of ego. And so now we were flying, or it felt like it. He was still on the phone, by the way. Soon, I realized that we were driving in the blind spot of a small truck just ahead and to the right of our cab. The truck was hauling a long trailer, and the left turn blinkers were on, and my cab driver was so engrossed in his conversation, all Egyptian, that he didn't realize we were about to collide with this truck. I closed my eyes and pulled my body as close as possible in a little child's kind of if I close my eyes tight enough, I will disappear state of mind and posture. I heard the cab driver swearing, in perfect English, by the way, as he speeded up to claim his right to the lane. And finally, the truck driver realized what was happening, and he pulled over to another lane to the right. And as we passed the truck, I saw my driver begin to get angrier. By now, he was swearing into the phone and threatening to take down the truck license, etc., etc., etc. And now I've got a mad cab driver hurtling in one direction at 70 miles an hour, cursing on the phone, looking in the other direction in a rearview mirror, and I began to plead, no, please don't do this. It's not worth it. Remember, it's your new year. He heard me, really heard me, and stopped the madness. When I arrived at my client's door, he got out, getting my luggage, and apologized for the experience. And as he left, I wished him Happy New Year. I truly believe that if I hadn't listened to my cab driver's earlier conversation, if I had dismissed him as not worthy of trying to understand and gone into judgment and tuned out that conversation, I truly believe that I would be dead today. As a rule, I listen to cab drivers and people who clean bathrooms in airports and all who provide a service to my experience of life. I have found that if they take the risk to speak to me, a stranger, they are usually talking about something that has great meaning to them. Stuff they want to share, or perhaps just want to bounce off someone they think might provide a different perspective or view. I count all conversations as special. Okay, sometimes they might be especially uncomfortable or seemingly of little importance to me, but I believe there is a kernel of truth in every statement. A message of some kind that will benefit me someday. The time it took for me to listen to that cab driver's story of his new year was minuscule, but it gave me a common understanding of what was important to him, and repeating it brought him back to what was more important than ego or right or wrong. He wanted to live to see another new year, and so did I. Anytime you think you don't have time or energy or patience or language or interest in listening to someone, anytime you float the thought that it's okay to tune out in some situations, remember the cab ride. Thanks for listening. Until next month, remember to listen deeply and see if you can find the kernel of truth in all your conversations. More clues are waiting for you exclusively. Take care.